I have been a Pokemon fan my entire life, but I have only recently read the Pokemon Adventures manga, and I must say, this series is amazing. I have heard a lot of praise for this series over the years from people who have read it, and it was on my radar for a long time, and this series definitely didn't disappoint. This series took what the original games did and expanded upon not only the world, but each and every character as well, and they even added their own character that doesn't appear in the games at all, which is cool. This series has handled everything perfectly, and it is the true way to experience the story of Pokemon in my opinion. Like, the games are fun, but nowadays I almost never pay attention to the story as I already know what's going to happen. But this manga gave me a fresh perspective on the story of each of the games in a way that I didn't think I would be able to get anymore. So if you're a fan of the Pokemon games, but have never read this series, then I highly recommend that you do so, as this series will really help you re-spark the love and make it even stronger than it was before, I promise you that. But it isn't just the story and characters that are good. The art in the series is also quite good as well. They have handled everything in this series exceptionally well, and it shows. You can truly see the love and passion that Hidenori Kusaka and the two artists Satoshi Yamamoto and Mato have for the series, as it looks so damn good. And it has an amazing story that is both faithful to the original games as well as being able to add its own original spin to the story to make it fresh for experienced Pokemon players like me who already know the story of each Pokemon game inside and out, which is what I love about this series the most. The fact that this series is still ongoing and is able to keep itself feeling fresh while also being faithful to the original is amazing. This series truly has everything going for it. I love when we get to the end of an arc. They are some of the most exciting moments to witness, and the art just comes together to make it all that much more amazing than it otherwise would have been before. Sometimes I wish this is what the Pokemon anime was. I do love the anime, but this manga is truly something special. So with all that praise out of the way, I highly recommend this series for both seasoned and new Pokemon fans, as this series will be entertaining to all. The characters in the series are obviously quite good, especially if you already like them from the games. But this series really expands upon certain characters that we don't really get to see much of in the games, like the gym leaders, by making them an integral part of the story instead of just a roadblock for you to beat and move on to the next city. Now they play a big role in the story and always have a presence, which is really cool. There's a lot of really good dialogue between the characters as well, which just makes everything that much more fun. Like the protagonists of the game, for instance, actually speak and have personality, and the way the certain gym leaders interact with each other is also great, as their personalities really get to shine through, which doesn't really get to happen much in the games, especially the older Pokemon games, so it's really cool to see that. Honestly, the characters in this manga are really good, and expanded upon nicely from their game counterparts, and it makes the experience of the story that much better, as characters are always important, and it's not very often that certain characters that should be important in the games, like gym leaders, are actually important, so it's cool to see that here. The world in this manga is just a typical Pokemon world that we explore and travel through ourselves in the games. However, it does expand upon the world quite nicely, and we get to see certain events happen in a very interesting way that makes them feel better than they do in the games. Like in the Gen 1 arc, meeting the Pokemon fan club president in-game is just a means of getting the bike voucher and not much more than that, but in the manga, he is a really funny character who actually makes a reappearance later on in the same arc, which actually expands upon the world nicely because most of the time you're not just going to talk to someone like that just once. So it's really cool to see some of the most minor characters in the games get some sort of cool character in this manga that really does make this much more of a fun read than it otherwise would be for experienced Pokemon players, which I love. The world in this manga gets expanded upon so much that it really makes the game world seem much larger than the games are able to portray them, and that just makes everything so much better. I've stated this multiple times throughout this video already, but the art in this manga is really good. I love the way they adapted those characters from the games into their own style, and I love the paneling in this manga as well. It makes the Pokemon battles intense, and it just works so well. The art in this manga makes the characters a lot more expressive and makes the Pokemon battles more fun to witness. The artists really know how to bring these games to life in the most perfect way possible, and the amount of skill and passion these artists put into the series shows on every page, as things just manage to keep looking better as we get further along in this manga, which I love. Everything about this series is so good, especially the art. This series is worth checking out for the art alone because it just looks so damn good. But if that doesn't do it for you, then you should just take everything else I've said in this video into account to check this series out. Pokemon Adventures is a perfect experience for those of us who love Pokemon and for those of us who haven't experienced much Pokemon. This series takes what the original games did and expands upon all of it and makes a more interesting story with a more interesting cast of characters that really show off the world of Pokemon is really about. This series is a lot darker than both the games and the anime, as there is real death in this series, and I know there is death in both the anime and the games, but those are both more of implied deaths and aren't actually shown. Even the Ghost of Marowak, we only get to see the aftermath of that and what caused her death. But Pokemon Adventures does not shy away from showing it. I'm sure you've all seen the panel of the Arbok cut in 2. Yeah, well that happens in this series, and it honestly just makes the experience that much better because these Pokemon are fighting for their lives and their trainers, but we never actually get to see how bad it can truly be in a worst case scenario, so it's really cool to see that. This series is exceptional in every way. We get to see the amazing art and an amazing story, and it's all done in a very faithful yet unique way to make the Pokemon world more expansive and interesting than the games could provide normally. I highly recommend this series for anyone who wants a different yet familiar take on the Pokemon world that we all know and love, because this manga series provides that and more and makes everything so much more fun, which I love. This manga is the perfect version of the Pokemon story, so if that's the biggest thing that you love about the games, then this series is perfect for you.